Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Gear Up episode on Modern Warfare 3. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the IWI TAVOR X95 9mm variant. This thing is pretty damn badass, just like the regular X95. And I wanted to make a video on this because, it's a brand new gun in Season 2. And it's just in case you guys don't know what this gun is in real life. So here's a video on it. Now, this firearm is actually discontinued. I don't know about the reasons in certain countries, but I know that in the United States, which is a country I don't live in, this thing is discontinued because I believe there was some notes about it saying how the government of the US did not want any 300 blackout or 9mm variants of the TAVOR. For whatever reason, I'm not too sure. They have their laws are getting a little bit more strict when it comes to firearms, so I'm not too sure about the real reason, but that is what I've heard and that is what I've read. But I want to make a video on this anyways, regardless if it's discontinued in real life, because this thing looks badass. Now, we have a pretty simple setup here, and yes, it is effective in both Warzone and multiplayer. So if you guys want to try some Warzone, go straight ahead. This here is more of like a remake on my part. It is, I guess, it was already a replica to begin with. It just had a barrel that was too short to be called the X95 9mm. It had, the game stock barrel, which I'll take off right now just to show you guys. Yeah, it's like super short, and I believe it's a lot longer than this in real life. I can't remember the exact dimensions of the barrel, but I know for a fact it's longer than this, especially on the civilian market. So yeah, we have to put on one of these barrels here, which is called the Speedway. But we'll get into that in just a bit. Let's take a look at this and quickly talk about it just a little bit more. Yeah, so this here is a two-tone variant. Now, if you guys have the charcoal paint scheme unlocked or camo in the game, it's in solid colors. You guys can turn this into a nice little black 9mm variant of the TAVOR, which looks pretty cool. Obviously looks badass and more realistic. So if you guys want to roll with that, definitely go right ahead. But yeah, we're just going to go with the two-tone for now. So let's get into the attachments here. Again, pretty simple build, but let's go over it. So starting with the muzzle here, we're using the MWIII Pendulum muzzle brake, which is pretty... I love the appearance of this one. I can't remember what it's replicated off of. I could be wrong here, and I think I am, but I think it's similar to what Daniel Defense has on their current rifles. But again, I could be wrong. It just looks very familiar, but I can't put my finger on it. Regardless, it looks badass, and it works very well in the game. It's not just for replica purposes. Normally this runs a regular AR flash hider. I can't remember what it's called, but just a standard flash hider. The game doesn't have that, so we're going to go with something else here, and again, it's effective. So moving on to the barrel here, we're using the Speedway V5 short barrel. Now, this does reduce your damage, your effective damage range, minimum damage range, and your bullet velocity, but it does increase your controllability on recoil and your sprint to fire speed. It's not that crazy, but for replica purposes, this is what we're going to use. Everything else just looks a little bit wacky. Moving on to the optics here, we're using the X10 ERX10 Mini. I can't for the life of me put a finger on where I've seen this in real life. There's one in real life that looks similar to this one. Not exactly, but it looks similar. I just can't remember the name of it, but regardless, that's what the optic is that we're using. Magazine, we're using 40 rounds. If you're playing Warzone, please use 50-round magazines. It is obviously very well needed, but 40 rounds you can get away with as well in duos. And in multiplayer, 40 rounds is definitely enough. And finally, underbarrel, we're going with the Chimera Seraphic Vertical Grip. Very weird name for it, but I think this one suits it very well, and it does give you some of those added benefits, especially movement speed. So yeah, that's it for the firearm. Let's go ahead, hop into the shooting range. I'll let you guys listen to it, see the inspection, and then we'll do a little recoil test. Okay, so let's do a little recoil test here. I mean, technically, the first little scenes there where I'm shooting the gun, technically it's a recoil test too, because I'm just shooting in one spot. But yeah, so let's go ahead and do the little recoil test here. And as you guys can see, it's pretty damn effective. Of course, around 50 meters, you're going to have a little bit of trouble hitting targets. That should be normal for SMGs. I mean, they're meant for close range encounters anyways. But if you guys burst it, as you can see there, it's pretty damn good. And recoil is definitely manageable. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today's video. If you guys want some Modern Warfare 3 gear, such as scuff controllers or whatnot, go ahead and check out the link in the description below for the Amazon orders there. You guys can check that out and order something if you guys need them. And that's basically it for today's video. Next video, I will be making more variants of either this one or the FN2000, but it depends. I know not many people watch these videos, but if you are one of the ones who watch it, this is why I'm making them. I'm hoping to help out that small majority of people who love replicating firearms in video games, who love MWIII, and who love just real-life firearms. These videos are for you, so definitely stay tuned for more. And if you guys have any suggestions, leave it in the comment section below. Midway to Season 2, we are getting the ARX200 from my knowledge, so that's going to be a lot of fun to remake. I believe it's the ARX200, I can't quite remember, but I think it is the 7.62 variant of it or something, not the 5.56. But anyways, peace out ladies and gents, and see you guys in my next video.